everyone. Welcome to Cooking with Kim. Cooking with Cookie Kim. That's it. That's a tongue twister. Today we're going to make basic bread and butter pudding. Now you can make fancier versions of this. When I put the recipe up on Facebook, a few of my friends joined in and suggested doing it with hot cross buns and clotted cream and all sorts of extravagant ingredients. But this is a basic recipe, so we're going to do that today. So for anyone that hasn't put their oven on, could you turn your oven on to 190 degrees centigrade or gas mark 5? And then the oven will be warming up while we're getting the bread and butter pudding together. So the first thing we're going to do, I hope you've all got a dish, something like that. Okay, it hasn't got to be the same. It can be oval, round. Some people do the bread in slices. Some people tear the bread in sort of lumps. But we're going to do it the traditional way. So the first thing we're going to do is lightly grease our baking dish. I'm going to do it with a pastry brush this time. So I'm literally greasing the dish. This just stops it sticking too much to the dish. Same as when you make cakes, you grease the tins or grease the grease-proof paper. So it should look something like that. I'm just going to pop that down for a moment. Now we're going to mix our sugar and cinnamon together. So it's...
Wait. Can you wait a minute, Kim?
I can. Have you caught up, William?
He's disappeared.
Ah, okay. I think maybe
he's muted.
Having trouble with reception out there. Looks like I've frozen as well. Perhaps it's not very good internet today.
It froze on my end anyway.
Everybody that can hear me, I am measuring 100 grams of sugar. I'm using caster sugar, and this is about just under, probably about 3.5 ounces, if anyone's working in ounces. So 100 grams.
Kim, you've disappeared on my computer.
Yeah, I'm going to go in the other room and
I'm going to try and find it so I can put the camera back on.
Just a minute. Back to
Gallery.
meeting.
There you are. Ask start video.
Right.
You're back, Kim. You're back.
I am back. Okie doke. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. So we've got our 100 grams of sugar in the scales, and we're going to be putting our 1 teaspoon of cinnamon into the sugar. So careful does it. You could use ginger, maybe even a bit of mixed spice, but for this today I'm using cinnamon. which gives it a nice flavour. So that goes into the sugar. And I'm just going to stir that around so it mixes nicely. Makes it go a little bit brown. And then we're just going to put that aside for a moment.
Alice is hoping to join us in a
Now.
second, so you might have to do a catch up.
The next thing we're going to do, you should all have 5 slices of bread. Now, you may have thin bread, you might have medium. I seem to have quite thick bread. And I'm going to leave my crust on because I like the crunchy bit. But if you want, you can cut your crust off. So literally, you're going to butter like you're making a sandwich. So butter your bread, be quite generous. Go right up to the edges. So that's my first slice. I'm going to cut, you can cut it that way. I'm going to cut mine diagonal. So it looks like that. And then I'm going to sort of layer it nicely in my baking tray, my baking dish. You can play around with it a bit. At the moment, it looks like that, but I might change it when I see how much the bread fills it. So again, carry on buttering your bread. Let me know if anyone needs me to go a bit slower. So that's my second bit of bread. And there
Alice
we go.
might be coming in a second.
Who's that?
Alice.
Fliss.
Alice.
Alice. Okay.
Holly's
I heard
friend.
the is bit. Yes, okay. That's what I've got so far with 2 slices of bread. And I'm buttering my third. You're all going to be very good at doing sandwiches at the end of this, but I'm sure you are anyway. And that's my third one. I'm going to go at a different angle with this one, I think. So I'm building up the layers. I'm still buttering my bread. And slicing it. I'm going to pop that bit in there. And that bit in there. Try and keep it all quite level if you can. Because if you've got bits sticking up, they tend to get very well cooked and they might be a bit too crunchy. So I'm doing my last bit and then I'm going to have a play around with it. Like I said, my bread is quite thick, but it seems to fit the size of my dish quite well. So I'm bringing the dish back here. There we are. I think I'm happy with that. So that's the stage you need to be at. I'm just pushing it down a little bit so it's got quite a flat top. All right, now for my favourite cloth that I wipe my fingers with. Now, what we're going to be doing next is putting a handful of the sultanas and then some of the sugar mix. So grab your handful and sprinkle it on your bread.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Alice. Are you doing the
Oh.
cooking today or just watching?
I was trying to call Holly to a few times, but she's been busy doing this. But I was trying to remember what the link was for joining in.
Okay.
But then Steve sent me the link.
Are you doing the cooking today?
Yeah, I'd like to because I've got my ingredients ready, but I've missed out on the first bit.
I'm sure Kim will do a recap. Can't you, Kim? Can't you, Kim?
Are you all ready to start? Have you got everything else, Alice?
I do. I started getting ingredients ready in the kitchen.
While you're waiting. Yeah, okay. So have you got your sugar and your cinnamon ready?
I'm sorry, I'm behind.
Okay, can you weigh 100 grams of sugar and a
I've done
teaspoon
that.
of cinnamon?
I've already measured out the ingredients.
Okay, brilliant. So you've got them in a bowl. And what you need to do now is butter your bread.
I've
So
only got wholemeal bread.
you're making a sandwich. Can
I've
you
got
see?
I've only got wholemeal bread, not white bread.
That's okay. It'll have a different taste. Like I said to the others, people use hot cross buns for this. They use all different types of bread. The basic recipe is the white bread with butter, but just butter your bread and then put it into a greased dish, and it should look something like that. We're just starting to add the sultanas and the sugar mix. What you can actually do as you're stacking your bread into the dish, put like a handful of sultanas and then a handful of sugar in between the layers.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we can all get to that point. So what I'm doing, I'm sprinkling with the sugar, and I'm sprinkling the sugar underneath.
Sorry, a bit late.
Don't worry, you'll catch up with us. This is quite a basic recipe, so.
I didn't want to miss out.
Is that ordinary sugar, Ken?
Are you with us, Carl?
Yeah, is that ordinary sugar? You're sprinkling.
This is caster sugar, but you can use granulated.
Right,
You can use
Oh, we got it there.
brown
Oh,
sugar.
put an over soda on.
What sugar? Nicole?
Over soda in the bowl.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just about putting my fifth handful of sultanas now.
5 pieces of bread.
Yep, stack them up into your dish.
Do you butter the dish first?
Yes, yes, into a greased dish. That will be lovely. And then I'm still putting cinnamon and sugar in the layers. I'm just lifting the bread up and tucking the sugar in.
Is this one gonna be okay?
Been unmuted.
Is it something like mine?
It's
Because if you see, I put the pictures up on Arts and Crafts Friday. Yep, that looks okay. That looks okay.
this one.
Yeah, it's quite big. You might need more than 5 slices of bread for that, or just one layer. If you've got something a little bit smaller,
Yeah.
just one size down, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, is this one?
Put it in front of the screen.
Can you see?
I'm still trying to find you because I've got sticky fingers and I'm having to touch. Ah, yep, I've got you then. Yeah, that's perfect, perfect. Just grease that and start putting your slices of bread and butter in there.
Sorry.
Okay, just
Yeah.
do your buttering. Tell me when you've got to the stage of putting your sugar and your raisins and your bread and butter all in there.
Do you use like a tissue to grease it with butter?
I use a pastry brush. You can use greaseproof paper, or you can use, some people use their fingers. Sugar.
I'll use tissue. Just improvise.
Right, for everybody that's got to this stage, we are now going to weigh 500 ml of milk.
And then, yeah.
Alice, you're just getting it to this stage, okay?
Yeah. I'll just try and be kind to myself with this. Because I don't want to feel like putting pressure.
No, that's right.
Enjoyable.
Right,
It's not
a jug like this, which has got the measurement of 500 ml on it, which is exactly half a litre. So I'm going to be measuring the half a litre.
Kim,
Yes, William. Where have you got to, William? That's my milk. Oh, I froze again now. Oh, we got the grim. Oh, no, I'm back. Right, 500 ml of milk.
Kim. I mean, it's Kim.
Yes.
Yeah. Do the breads have to overlap each other?
You can do it how you like, but in between, sprinkle your sugar and your sultanas as you go. So it's all in layers.
Yeah.
There's no, there's no right or wrong way, Alice. Some people might cut the bread up into little squares and make it look really quite pretty. Now I put 2 eggs in my bowl and I'm beating my 2 eggs now. This is when you make the custard part. And then I'm going to slowly add my milk to the egg. And this is how people used to make custards, going back before we had sachets and and quick and easy ways of doing it.
You just improvise.
Yeah, egg and milk.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Right, just a sprinkle of sugar. I've done all my bread layers, and I'm up to here with the sultanas, and I've buttered all the bread. And
That
Oh,
sounds
that-
brilliant, Alice. Yeah, that's great. Look at that. Okay, just put that aside for a minute and
yeah,
weigh your 500 ml of milk.
I've done that.
Oh, brilliant. And whisk your 2 eggs up.
Yeah,
And add your milk to your eggs.
add the milk to the eggs. Yeah,
Just slowly, and then you're with us. You're at this stage where we all are. Is that your eggs there?
yeah. I'm just using a fork because I haven't got. I just like to do it this way, really. I've not got a mixture.
Because what we're going to do now is pour this eggy milk over the top of our our bread mixture. So let me find myself again so I can see you can all see me. There I am. Right. I am going to try and pour this. So, yeah. Probably be easier if you've got a jug.
Yeah, got a jug.
I'll pour it back in there. And then I'm covering this bread and sultanas. Try and do it slowly and try and get the eggy mix to soak into the crust if you've kept your crust on. And cover every single bit with the egg and milk. And hopefully it will go in your bowl nice. If you seem to have too much egg, don't worry about it too much if it's too high up in your dish. Mine is actually pretty perfect, and I haven't practiced this, because what we need to do now is let it soak in for 10 minutes. So we need to time 10 minutes, but I'll tell you when the 10 minutes is up. So rather than stop for 10 minutes, I'd like to keep going if that's all right. And then we can just put it in the oven, and then I can hand over to the next person doing crafts with you.
That's good. I've done that.
Yeah, that's lovely. So just let it soak.
That's good.
What I can do at this point is talk about next week, because I've been having a good look, a very good look at different recipes for Valentine's Day. Well, Valentine's Day is Sunday, but I thought it would be nice to celebrate Valentine's with cooking. And Andy, he suggested red velvet cakes, but I looked at the recipe and it's actually quite a hard recipe. Probably too many things that we've got to go out buy at the moment. So maybe something like that further down the line when we've collected together more ingredients. But what I think I've decided on is making some, and I know Carl Baker is very fond of this recipe. It's a peanut butter biscuit recipe, but what we can do is make the biscuits heart-shaped, and then when they're cooked, we're going to dip half of the heart or the whole top if you want, but it looks quite nice if you dip half the cake. half the biscuit, and then when the chocolate dries, sprinkle some like hundreds and thousands on it, or the little gold edible balls, or maybe a strawberry could go on the side, because strawberry being red, might be able to incorporate jam, red jam. I'm just trying to bring in a little bit of red, so it signifies the colour like of Valentine's. So that's where I'm sort of going, that at the end of it, you've made something that's quite a nice romantic sort of type of shape and everything. If you haven't got a heart cutter, then you could actually make one out of cardboard, possibly. Or you could make a circle and just kind of, if you imagine a circle, and then you just kind of cut that little bit out at the top, you'd end up with a heart, because you just kind of cut a little bit off. But we can do that as we do them next week. Cutters are quite easy to get hold of, especially this time of the year. You'll probably see them in Wilco's upstairs, or that's Hanley, because they're promoting Valentine things at the moment. But if not, there is ways around it. So yeah, kind of what I'm thinking of for next week.
Lovely.
Anyone got any other ideas how we can make the peanut butter cookie look more Valentine?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that?
Orange and coconut cake.
Orange and coconut cake. Yeah, that sounds actually a really nice recipe. I'll look.
What about cheesecake?
Cheesecake is another one. It depends how difficult you want the recipe to be. I'm trying not to give you too many ingredients at the moment. To keep it quite simple. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes, William? William? But I suppose if someone else wanted to do another recipe at the same time, that was a Valentine's Day recipe, and then at the end you can show us what you've cooked, then that would be really good.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, that would think you're familiar with. Yeah.
I'm familiar with cheesecakes, definitely, because I'm a massive fan of cheesecake, so probably that would be spot on for me, probably.
Yep.
So
yep. I'm
Butterfly cake, Tim?
Pardon, June?
Butterfly cake?
Yep, butterfly cakes.
yeah.
Again, you've got to do the cooling before you can put the cream in. If we can work it between us that while the cakes are cooling, then somebody else is doing it for half an hour, and then I come back to yeah.
It still tastes,
Yeah.
it tastes the same anyway.
The trouble with some of the recipes, they've got to cool for so long, and
Yeah.
it's I'm not saying it's difficult. I've looked at hundreds of recipes.
No,
and
I wouldn't say it's difficult.
But some of them are really difficult to make.
People thinking that's difficult.
Tim, I've just found on bbcgoodfood.com, because it's search for easy Valentine's recipes. It's come up with hidden heart cake. That.
Ooh.
Can't see it. Hang on. Yeah, it looks lovely, but that's quite a skilled recipe.
No, really. There's the ingredients for it.
It's not so much the ingredients as how you make it.
Yeah, getting that heart in the middle.
Yeah.
But I have seen that one, Andy. I will look into it and
Yeah.
have a look at how you get that heart. Also, another thing is it's the red colour. Now, I've really, really been investigating this red colour.
Yeah.
That's what kind of stopped me
Like
from doing the red velvet, because you need a concentrated red colouring. What you've got in a supermarket isn't good enough. That's just very liquid and it's very weak. You'd need a proper professional red.
that gets stuck together.
Just grab one and show you what I mean. And for me, unfortunately, I had a lovely cake decorating shop in Milton and it's gone. It's just disappeared.
Oh.
This is a concentrated colour and it's more like a paste. It's literally like a thick jelly paste. And this isn't cheap. This is peach.
Uh-huh.
This is the kind of thing you need to make things red. Okay, otherwise you'd end up with a very watery pink. So it's all little things learning, isn't it? This is another one. I have got a couple, but I bought these from a proper cake decorating shop. See, it's almost like thick oil paint. So that is how you would get your real deep red colour. But I will look that recipe up, Andy. I haven't written it in blood yet, what I'm doing. I just thought I'd let you know, because these heart-shaped peanut cookies actually look really nice. Fruit crumble is definitely on my list, Kerry. That is a nice recipe. We've still got cheese scones on our list.
Don't
Yep.
hidden heart takes 2 hours 20 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Love cheese
It won't be
scones.
finished in time.
Beyond our ability at the moment, but
Love cheese scones.
Yeah.
yeah, cheese scones I think would be a nice thing to cook for tea one week. But just next week, I would like it to have a Valentine type influence.
Type
to
of
it.
theme, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then that goes in, I'll bring it into the quiz a little bit. And we're also going to bring it into the themed Thursday. We're going to be doing love songs. So we're really nice Valentine week next week and all celebrate together. So I'm sure 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We're on our last minute, okay? So have a look at, can you see how your egg mixture has soaked in to your bread? Okay, 10 minutes is now up, so we're going to pop it in the oven for 35 to 40 minutes until the pudding is set and golden brown.
Hope it tastes nice.
Yeah, and hopefully it will taste nice. Mine looks pretty nice and soggy. If you pop it's a bit dry, you can always put a few dabs of butter. Just kind of dab a little bit of butter on the top just to give it, but mine really seems pretty okay. So when you're ready, pop them in the oven. Being very careful. And hopefully when you've done that safely, I can hand over for...
How long, Kim? How long has it got to go in the oven?
35 minutes. We're going to go and look at it at 35 minutes.
Okay.
I'll just kind of pop in if I think it's cooking quicker than that and give you a little update. But we've got at least 30 minutes at the moment. So